Hello, and welcome to Nicole's channel. Today, my guest is Alexandra Adamo. She was born with arthrogryposis. Despite her personal challenges, as well as challenges within her family, she has paved her own road to success with bricks of determination. Alex, welcome to today's discussion.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thank you so much for a warm welcome. I really appreciate it.
So, I'd like to start with some fun warm up questions before we explore the deeper parts of your story. So, what is your daily routine?
I currently work as a wraparound recovery counselor at a community mental health center. So during the week, my routine kind of consists of going to work, and when I'm not at work, I like to play video games, I like to read, and play with my two cats.
Okay. What is the best gift that you've ever received?
I would have to say my very first tarantula. I was at dinner with my father and trying to rack my brain of what we can talk about that's not going to lead to a political discussion or a discussion on how everybody sucks, things like that. I just started telling him every fact I know about tarantulas. And at the end of that dinner, he just point blank asked me, well, how would you feel if I got you a tarantula? That was the beginning of a very serious addiction. So after that dinner, he took me to the pet store and we got our very first tarantula. And her name is Lilith. And now I have seven tarantulas.
Okay, so tell me about your arthrogryposis.
Arthrogryposis is a condition that you're actually born with. It is a condition that leads to contractures in the joints. I can't extend my arms or my legs all the way out, and I can't bend them all the way in. And it also causes muscle weakness. And so that has kind of been a balancing act of how much physical therapy do I need to be dedicating in my life, as well as I got into adulthood, how can I make sure that I am as independent as possible? So now I would say I am pretty independent. I do still need assistance dressing in the morning and with bathing at times. But other than that, like once you get me out the door, I'm gone. It really just boils down to some of those basic activities of daily life that are sometimes bothersome and I need assistance with.
So, what specific types of challenges have you faced due to the condition?
Physical barriers, for sure, right? I
Mm.
had to learn a different way of how to go up and down stairs. You know, a lot of the physical therapy that I went through was not only very intense, but some of it was experimental. I was part of a relatively new physical therapy that, so things like that, I would say, but also had promising results. But at the end of the day, we really didn't know if that was going to provide the maximum benefit. And I would be lying if I did not mention that, yes, being born with a disability and growing up realizing that you are different from your peers, right, that takes a toll,
Yeah.
especially once I had gotten into high school, things like that.
And what challenges would you say that your family had faced due to the disability as well?
Oh my goodness. Well, when I was just born, I was not able to open my mouth wide enough to breastfeed. And the doctor had actually just advised my mom that, hey, we don't really know what's going on with her. We don't know if she's going to live. And if she can't feed, maybe it's best to let her perish. There was a lot of speculation on my personal longevity. There was a surgeon that was on my care team at one point that did propose, what if we cut off my legs from the knee down? And my mom had to go back and forth. And she, I mean, quite funnily, she was like, I don't know if I would ever be able to look her in the face when she got older. And she asked me, Mom, what happened to my legs? And I have to tell her, yeah, I just cut them off. So just having to be in that position, making those calls, not just for the drastic things like cutting my legs off, but every surgery I ever had came with their own set of risks and recovery period. So even just deliberating over what surgeries, make the most impact and be worthwhile, worth that risk, was
Yeah.
also very stressful.
Okay, so are there any benefits that your disability has provided to you?
I don't think that I would be the same person, and I would not have the same interests that I have. I wouldn't have probably gone into counseling like I did. I mean, it has been formational in not only what my opportunities have been, but also just where I fell naturally into myself. So I do think that I have a lot to be grateful for.
Okay. So what was it specifically then that made you decide to want to study psychology and become a counselor?
I would say that aside from just having an interest towards that from the beginning, I also realized that there are so many people that it is so valuable to them to have someone just be there and listen, even if you don't know what to say, even if what the person across from you is saying is the most horrendous thing you've ever heard, you being there makes all the difference. Being that person, in my opinion, it's a place of privilege to be that person hearing and bearing witness to the struggles of other people.
Okay, so and specifically, what kind of clients do you have?
So, in my department specifically, running the groups, we have people that have, mental health diagnoses such as bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, things like this. But we also have people with cognitive deficits. The majority of the people that I service in groups, a lot of them have a mental health diagnosis, but also will have either a learning disability or have some type of a chronic health issue. So it is a diverse bunch, and it is one of the more challenging populations, I will say that.
Okay, so another thing I kind of want to touch a little bit about. At 19 years old, your eldest brother had actually committed a murder. And at that time, you were only 2 or 3 years old?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, so how has growing up with a sibling that had been convicted of something so serious affected you?
Yeah. There has been so many snippets of time that I will never forget, that immediately surface when I kind of reflect on what it has been like for me because despite him being 19 at the time of the crime, he was not arrested until 2004. And at that time, I was around 6 or 7 years old. And it was very, very confusing. The day he was arrested, I woke up on my own. It was a weekday, and I was surprised I didn't go to school. So I had gone downstairs and I was greeted with my family just sitting around the table looking absolutely crestfallen. And I was just so confused and I was worried because I knew something was wrong. I mean, I didn't go to school. There was nothing wrong with me. So what was
Yeah,
going on?
yeah.
And I also did testify at my brother's sentencing hearing, which I did not know what that was for. I had no idea. And that was the last time that I saw my brother, free in a sense. And, they had asked me some questions about how my brother has been to me as a brother and things like that. Very rudimentary, basic things. Because, I mean, I was too young to really comprehend or really speak to the gravity of his character or anything like that in other ways. And this is another flashbulb moment for me. My mom picking me up from third grade or fourth grade and just telling me plainly in the car, he's not coming home. And it had to be explained to me because I wasn't getting it. But even though they told me, oh, your brother's not coming home, they never really explained why. after he was convicted. So it was very confusing. I felt left in the dark.
Right. Yeah. He was found guilty. He is serving his sentence. Was your family, once they did finally explain, did they ever tell you like it's not true, like that's not who your brother is?
Um, I was given what I'll call the diet version of events that did paint a more accidental and forgiving light of my brother. Um, Around the age of 13, that's when I kind of started piecing things together that are not maybe quite as charitable. And then around age 15-ish, that's when it really became clear that the murder was intentional. And so like coming to terms with that, that was really hard. That was really hard and very frustrating because I had already been kept in the dark, as a child throughout the trial. And then I felt like I was coming to another new revelation all over again.
And how would you say your relationship with your brother is now?
There has been some distance put between us, somewhat intentionally, and also just due to the fact that I am now an adult with my own life. And, I have a fiance and I have a job and, I have my own things going on. But also, there was a few times where his influence on me wasn't the best for my mental health. He was, and he still is, very intelligent, and he's also into all of the same kind of dorky things like video games and board games that I'm into. And so, like, there were a lot of things that kept us bonded, but also there's an insidious part to my brother's personality, which is he is a manipulator. And so I had to kind of step back. That was not easy, and that took a lot of time. Um, yeah, I would say that now we're okay. We're, I don't know, not super distant, but we don't talk every day as we used to.
Okay. Well, I thank you all for listening today. And thank you so much, Alex, for joining me today for this discussion and for sharing your journey and the powerful lessons that you learned along the way. Until next time, take care.